Okay, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Thursday webinar with ScaleForEtail. We're really delighted to have a guest who's come all the way over from San Diego virtually. And he'll be, he's an amazing speaker, and we've been talking for a while, haven't we, Ryan? It's been
yeah, quite a while.
Yeah.
Been trying to sync up. Luckily, it's a lot easier for me to walk to my home office than it is to fly to the UK. So.
Yeah, but eventually we're going to get you to fly over as well. Probably not this year, but eventually. Yeah. So it's really lovely to see everyone. Do say hello and tell us what's making you happy today. So just a quick message. Hi, Phil. Oh, look, there's Christian.
Could be something.
Space. So do pop into the chat and as it says at the bottom, say something nice. Hi, Milan. Hi, Ahmed. Are you a first timer, Ahmed? I don't think I recognize your name. But welcome if you've been, you are, well done. I do remember names. So it's really wonderful to have you if you're here for the first time, and obviously even better if you're a returning listener and you participated in these webinars before. I'm not going to talk for very long, but just to give you all a very brief introduction. Oh my God, look at that. We've got so many excited people here ready to listen to you, Ryan. So there you go. That must be feeding your ego quite nicely by now.
No. Racking up the nerves, so.
Racking up the nerves. Oh, no. This is admiration. Take it for what it is.
Okay, sure.
Cool. So if you're here for the first time, please try and put any questions into the questions tab. You'll see that that's right away over from on the right from the chat tab. That just helps us to make sure that we capture all your questions and that we deal with them. And we'll probably deal with them at the end. Is that okay with you, Ryan? Is that how you'd like to do it? Or do you prefer to be interrupted?
At the end is good. If you see a lot of questions about a particular topic as I'm going through it, just let me know and we can pause.
Sure.
Some of the topics can get a little complicated if people want to go deeper into them. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll try and deal with everything towards the end, but obviously if there's a burning platform, then we'll all jump on it and try and get through it.
Right.
And I'm just going to hand over to you. You've gone a bit dark. Is that on purpose?
Says your bandwidth is low. So
for me?
For you, Ryan, yeah.
Yeah, you've gone a bit black.
I've just disabled your webcam for a second. Just if you start the presentation, it should be fine with the presentation. We'll see how that looks.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure, but if you need me to use a hotspot or something, let me know. My internet should be fine.
Okay.
Okay. So can you put up your presentation and then we can make sure that we can all see that?
Yep. Let me get that.
Cool.
Is this coming through okay?
Okay, we've got a circle. It's going round and round. Are we nearly there? Okay, it looks like we might be having some issues. So, Ryan, would you just log out and log back in?
No, he's there.
Oh, there you are. Don't do that.
Okay, so you can.
Yeah, I can see the presentation. So I've turned your video, your webcam off, but the presentation's fine.
Okay, so you guys can see the title here. It says 3 ways to optimize campaign for better quality buyers, quicker results, and less cost. That's the title.
Absolutely.
What we will be covering today.
Cool. Good. Well, let me hand over to you and have fun, everyone. This is going to be really good.
Great. Thanks, Shelley. So yeah, everyone, just going to talk about a couple different ways to improve your product launches if you're using Facebook ads, Facebook Messenger, which I assume a lot of you in here is a hot topic for the last year or two. It's something I've been talking about for quite a while. I have a lot of experience doing it. And my goal is to just give you guys launch results and less cost. So just using strategies that I've been developing for the last couple of years and testing with hundreds of people I worked with. So today, I could potentially go like hours on this topic, but I try to narrow it down just within the time limits here. Just to get into today, how the algorithm works in 2020. This is important so you can understand the reason some of these other points that I get into later about buyer quality matters. So if the first point, I'm just going to go into the algorithm, how it works, how to rank products on Amazon predictably. Second, I'm just going to talk about how you can set up, you choose to use some of the tools that I can recommend that you guys use. There's a whole bunch of different ways to set up these campaigns, but I'm going to show you guys a really fast way to do it. Then I'm going to talk about how to preemptively improve buyer quality for better results. So buyer quality on Amazon is very important, and how you can control that. Then we're going to get into optimizing Facebook ad performance so that your ads perform better during these launches and you can save some budget that are pretty simple to implement, but a lot of people are not doing it. And then fifth, we're going to get into kind of like the long-term, where do you go after you build traffic that is sustaining over the long term, rather than just temporary launches, temporary giveaways to products, because these work really well. We do after that. So that's a topic a lot of people like talking about, and we're going to get into that briefly as well. I just want to give a background on me. If you guys talk about myself very long, but just so you know who's talking to you, okay? So I worked as a corporate lawyer after trying to during my undergrad life, and for a couple of years between going to law school, I tried to find ways to make business work, and I just had some issues because I just didn't understand. You just kind of fail sometimes when you're first starting out. But I always wanted to be an entrepreneur and sell online. I just got sick of working my corporate law job, so business on the nights and weekends after I got home from work. I just focused in all my time on building one brand. I understood the only way to really build a long-term asset that isn't at the whim of Amazon or some other channel or something that can be taken down is to build an audience so that the people have a bond to your products and from buying from you, rather than just going to Amazon and searching for a keyword and being 100% reliant on that. We have a lot of methods to really optimize Amazon, but it's also feeding into the brand vision and building a long-term asset too. So that's kind of been my focus. I didn't have expertise in everything, but I decided I needed to learn advanced marketing tricks to really get awareness, sales quickly. So back in 2017, I started applying some Facebook ad knowledge that I had from prior years to the new platforms that were emerging. And I learned how to basically market my products effectively and rank on a whim. So currently I'm at 12 brand. I don't have hundreds of products. I do, pacing like close to 8 million per year with 20% of my revenue on Shopify. And I just have 2 employees and 3 VA. My expertise level, I try to make a brand with limited time. And a lot of you guys are also probably on limited time too. So you have to find strategies that work effectively. So that's kind of everything that I do is like, can I do it quickly and does it work well? So now I'm just going to get into the ranking. How does the algorithm work and why is it so important? So you guys all in this webinar probably know ranking organically on Amazon is very important. Long-term sales and having profitability for your business. You don't want to just be all PPC or all paid ads. You want to have organic rankings on Amazon. And the most important elements for ranking, they don't really change on Amazon. There's algorithm tweaks and tricks that people apply, but at the core of it, the algorithm has always functioned essentially the same way. In competitive spaces, if you're just using PPC to rank, it can get really difficult to get page 1 awareness, just because of the way that when somebody gets really entrenched in a ranking, it's really hard to dethrone them. If you have competitors with hundreds, thousands of reviews, if you're just going to throw exact match PPC bids at pay-per-click, Amazon pay-per-click bids at a product, sales to boost yourself up to the page 1, it just doesn't work most of the time, unless you have a really crazy good product that gets a lot more clicks and a lot more conversions than your competitors. you can't do it with just PPC. If it's just like a little bit better than your competitor, you really have to give it some extra juice to get that algorithm boost that you need. I'm going to show you the rebate launch process that a lot of you probably have heard of, but an easier way to set it up. And I'm going to talk about why this particular way, different ways to optimize it. So how the algorithm works, we'll just get into this, the first part. Essentially, there's 4 key components. First thing is the on-page relevancy, which a lot of you guys are probably familiar with, just optimizing your product page so that and Amazon can determine that you're relevant for keywords. Easy stuff. Keyword-specific performance. So how is your product performing in comparison to your competitors? So if you're trying to rank for lavender essential oil, Amazon's going to say, look at all the products that are indexed in lavender essential oil somewhere. How many sales are these people getting, and who's getting the most sales in comparison to the others? And they're going to be looking at several things. Full price purchases, or are they just getting promotions? Is it consistent? So regarding consistency, the sales history. If you're getting for a keyword over several months, several years, it's more likely you're going to start ranking. There's also, Amazon's going to look at how long has the product been available. If the product is only available for a couple weeks, couple months, say like 3 months, you're kind of in the honeymoon period where your product's new and you have less sales history. Your sales performance during that short period of time, and then they'll compare you to older products, and the averages can kind of compete with each other. But for example, you have a product that's not performing well for a couple years, and then you optimize it, and then you start launching it. They're going to look at all that history and the poor performance that you've had previously, and it's harder for you to get that extra rank boost. So newer products have an easier time ranking, and older products that have been in good positions, it's hard to take them down just because of the average being so strong. So there's a thing called the honeymoon period that maybe some of you are familiar with. Newer products rank more easily because their average over that short period of time that they've been available. Inventory availability also impacts ranks. So there's tools out there that rankings. Rankings on Amazon actually vary by zip code. So if you type different zip codes, you'll appear in different spots. And a lot of this has to do with inventory availability, and also on zip code too, but it's mostly inventory. So how the algorithm works, you have to be indexed, right? This is all easy stuff. I'm not going to spend too much time on where to use keywords, subject matter, backend keywords, bullets, description. This is just obvious stuff, just so everybody's on the same page. Me to go into detail on this, so I'm just going to go quickly by it. Keyword specific performance. So Amazon is not just going to the exact keyword, they're also going to look at related keywords. So if somebody buys your product through lavender essential oil for face, you're also going to get the root word lavender essential oil, even if it's not the exact keyword. So knowing this, it comes into play when you're doing search find ranking campaigns. So search find buy is essentially a person goes to Amazon, you tell them to search for a specific keyword. They buy through that keyword. If they're buying through a related keyword, you're still going to get credit for like the main keyword. So getting a lot of searches that look organic, Amazon through search find buy, people actually searching through keywords, and if they're related, you're going to get boosts for all related keywords too. Next slide here, a little bit of animation technical issue. Sorry about that. Also, keyword specific performance. Amazon's looking, are these legitimate quality buyer your keywords on Amazon? Amazon has in recent years really had more checks related to who is actually leaving an unnatural amount of reviews. Are they just buying products at a discount? Do these accounts look like they're real buyers or natural buyers? Like they're just gaming the algorithm, gaming the system. So Amazon has protections in place to prevent their system from being manipulated by just have a bunch of fake accounts. That's why a lot of people use rebate platforms to do rankings, and I'd say you want to try to avoid that because there's buyers on these platforms, and the buyer quality is lower as a whole. So you're actually going to see less of a rank boost if you just use the same buyers that all the other people try. thing. So what is a legitimate buyer account? Amazon's going to look at how frequently are they returning items? Are they leaving a lot of reviews, that percentage? Are they canceling a lot of orders? Are they making purchases through particular links, or are they searching and kind of browsing in a natural pattern? And Amazon, everything. The amount of information they track is a lot more than some people would understand. They actually, how long are they spending on the page? Are they adding to cart? Adding to their wish list? Does it look like it's a natural progression to the purchase? They have a lot of data. So let me just go to the next slide here. I'm going to show you how to improve your buyer quality. The whole point of me talking about this first is I wanted to talk about how we can have better quality buyers buying from your are more effective. Okay. So full price buys, if you can get full price for your ranking campaigns, it's going to count more. And that kind of goes into buyer quality, but that's not everything. That is one factor. You do want to try to get full price buys for your launches. And the easiest way to get full price buys from a large, pretty much limitless pool of buyers is to use Facebook ads and to use Facebook Messenger launch campaigns. Facebook ads in particular, because there's hundreds of millions of Facebook users in the US and in a lot of these other countries. Most of you are probably. And if you structure these campaigns in the right way and you don't do, say, certain things when you're setting up your campaign, you can from the get-go when they're getting into your campaign. I'm hearing somebody's microphone. I'm not sure if that's mine or somebody else's, but
it's mine actually, and I unclicked it because I was going to break the rules and ask a question related to this. So, isn't it true though that you will capture some candidates or some buyers on Facebook who are the freebie lovers, just as? Yes. Isn't it inevitable? Whenever I've done campaigns, I can tell who those people are. They're the most annoying, typically.
Yep, it is inevitable. And what we can do is we can, mitigate the number of people. We can prevent all of them from being those types of freebie things we can put in place to keep a large percentage of them out. We can't keep all of them out, but we should be taking steps to prevent being those types of people. They do exist out there. I'm going to go over a couple different tactics you can apply to reduce that percentage by quite a bit.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. I think a lot of people will be thinking that in the back of their mind.
Right. So here's a couple methods I use full price buys. So chatbot launch campaigns on Facebook. I'm going to go over how you can improve the buyer quality from those. As Shelley mentioned, a lot of people on Facebook buyers, but I have a couple different tricks to prevent the majority of those people from being low quality buyers. I also leveraged my pre-existing to get full price buys and real purchases from customers. I'm going to talk about at the end how you can start building these Facebook groups for yourself. I also use Google ads to get full price buys that are fairly easy to set up. You just target specific buyer intent keywords. I'm not going to go into that too much, but that's one. Influencer blast using my YouTube influencer contacts that I've worked out deals with and micro influencers on Instagram. So I'll have 100 influencers I've worked with over the past several years. I launch a new product and I'll get the product in the hands of as many of those as I can. I'm all about the product at the same time. So their followers start seeing the buzz and they start buying at full price. So it's kind of a combination of a lot of different factors. When you're competing in very competitive spaces, not just doing the rebate leveraging existing email chatbot launches that I've built up. So that's one of the valuable aspects of building up these lists with your own chatbot, and not outsourcing it to some place where you have no control and no ability to contact these people again. So these are the couple of different ways of competitive spaces, and I've launched products where my competitors have 10,000 plus reviews and they're selling 800 to 1,000 units per day, and I saw most competitive spaces and been able to compete. So it's been pretty well vetted. Sales history. So I talked about sales. Amazon is going to be looking at performance over the lifetime of the product, so it's a rolling average. The better the average performance, the more you're rewarded. And obviously, I talked about the shorter period. If you have a strong performance during a short period, you're going to have stronger ranking initially. Or if you have an older product, a good average over the entire lifespan, that's also going to be hard to take away a ranking from somebody like that. I talked about a lot of this already, so. Okay. So the process for ranking, the popular method is using the CPR number from Helium 10. And more or less that type of number and calculation is still what we should be looking at when we're doing these launches. However, I do have some modifications. We're using quality buyers. So I like to go 10 to 15 days of consistent sales through keywords, and I don't use the full CPR. So the CPR number, they'll give you like an 8-day launch number or 7-day launch number. Say it's 100 units. You don't actually need 100 units during a 15-day period. You can actually use a different formula that I'm going to share with you guys. Zip code based availability. Okay. Ranking on zip code, it differs by zip code. And if you want to see this for yourself, you can actually open an incognito window in Chrome. Just make sure on account and you enter a different zip code and you can run searches. And this is how you can do this. If you're not familiar with incognito windows on Chrome, you can just click that top incognito window. And then when you run a search, type in a new zip code and you can type in your keyword and you'll see different rankings based on the zip code. Check that for yourself. So the formula, I'm going to talk about the formula for the CPR number like 2 slides from now. I just wanted to briefly touch on the zip code thing. To check that for yourself. Okay, so now I'm going to get into how to use rebates, search, find, buy, and buyer quality control to get ranks. Step 1, the sales requirement formula that I talked about. So the CPR number that you can use, I usually take the number that they give you and I multiply 6, and then I divide it by 10 to get the daily number. So if CPR shows 272 screen here, what you would do is you would multiply that by 0.6, so it's about 60%. Because we have better quality buyers, we don't need to do as many sales. This number was actually based around giving promotional codes rather than full price buys. So the number that they're using is kind of an older system, and I found that you can do 60%. You can divide it by 10, and then that's the number that you need to do every day. It's a lot cheaper to do launches like this if you have. I've tested this with hundreds of different sellers I've worked with. Okay, so step 2 is use a simple rebate structure to get those sales through search, find, buy. It works better than 2-step URLs or super URLs, and it's future-proof. So find, buy is instructing the buyers through the chatbot. Go to Amazon, search for this keyword instead of linking. And some people usually, what if you're not ranking for that keyword? How do you get the initial rank if you don't have the rank? How are they going to find you if you're doing search, find, buy right out of the get-go? The way is run PPC campaigns for that keyword so that you have the paid ranking instead of the organic ranking, at least initially, so that you're bidding in your seller account for lavender essential oil exact match, lavender essential oil phrase match, and you're doing like a sponsored brand campaign, the one where it's like search campaign. So you have aggressive PPC bids for those placements, and then when they search, you're going to show up and they're going to buy through your keyword. Even if it's a paid, and you'll still get rank credit for that. And that's better than any 2-step or super URL based on what we've found. So ManyChat, if you've never done a ManyChat launch, ManyChat's a chatbot platform. It allows you to interact with your buyers in real time. And that's the real benefit. Like a landing page is you can guide people through the purchasing process from start to finish, and you can get them to take actions when you want them to take them. So that's the value of ManyChat, is getting them to go to Amazon, take an action, buy, and then you can do the rebate, set it up in the right way. So I've been working the last year or so developing a system to this process as easy as possible. Experience with chatbots. I have no experience setting up all these complicated marketing tools. And I actually have a quick demo just to show you how easy it is to set up flow. But before I do that, I also wanted to say there's an aspect to this where you need to make a Facebook ad. So you need to make a chatbot Facebook ad. That's really all you need to do to get this to work. If you guys want the training to create the Facebook ad, it takes about 5 minutes or so to go through the training, and then you could free graphic and basically replicate exactly what I do. Here's a link if you guys want to write this down. It's bit.ly/FBA. And I just show you guys over the shoulder making a rebate campaign on Facebook, the entire campaign creation process. So it takes about 5 minutes to do that on this video, but what I will show you on this video is how to make the chatbot so that you can plug it into your Facebook ad, if you guys are okay with that. I have a platform called Boost Rooster, and
Ryan, 1 second.
Does, yes.
1 second, Ryan. Just tried that link. It doesn't seem to work.
Did you use capital?
Posted in lowercase. Posted in the chat. Don't know if you can spot if you haven't seen. If you can go back a slide and just show us the.
Do you just need the HTTPS in front of it? Maybe.
It was, but it cut it off in the chat.
Oh, I see. Okay.
FBA. Oh, there's D in it as well. 1 second.
FBA D
rebate
training. Okay.
Facebook ad rebate training.
Oh, got it. FB ad.
I'm sorry. So typing FBA for fulfillment by Amazon.
And yeah, it got me too.
That's
so.
fine. FB ad rebate. Okay, there we go. Right. Thank you.
Does that work for you?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. If not, just let me know in the Q&A and I can check it again.
No, it works now. So just apologies everyone for me mistyping it.
Cool. Yeah. So essentially, what you need for this, I'm going to walk you guys through, is you're going to be plugging in a ManyChat code that runs from the Facebook ad. So when somebody clicks on, they're going to be interacting with a Facebook bot that's already pre-programmed. And to create this bot, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I created a way that allows you to do the entire template creation process in about 2 to 3 minutes. I'm just going to show you guys that process if you want to try this on your own. You can also install templates. There's a lot of templates out there. The beauty of the system that I've helped create, is you can do all of the hard, complicated coding stuff in just like 2 minutes. So 15 units per day. If you want to go through a certain keyword, if you want to upload your image, you want to tell people how to find your product, it can all be done automatically. So I'm just going to show you how to create a campaign in here. And this will actually create your ManyChat template for you that you can just click to install. So you don't have to do any ManyChat work really, except just copy the ManyChat code, put it in your Facebook ad, which I show you guys how to do in that video that I just linked to. So if I wanted to launch a lavender essential oil, I would just type lavender oil, and then I would just put like May 2020. And rebate type. So we're doing rebate campaigns because we want to. So we get a person to buy a product on Amazon for a certain price, and then we tell them, we'll give you a $15 rebate once you verify that you've made it. And the system here that we've created, it can actually very easily streamline the process of giving these rebates and to people who have actually verified that they've made an order. If you wanted to do this on your own without a system like this, you'd have to go into ManyChat and you'd have to manually send things, or you'd have to connect ManyChat to a bunch of complicated systems like Zapier or Integromat, or there's other systems as well that also take a lot of manual work, or webhooks. You don't have to deal with any of that if you use this system. You just hit, say you want to do a reward card. So say I want to do a Visa rebate. A Visa card, I can just select reward card. Daily limit. So if you want to do 15 sales per day, you just put that here. And say you want to do a $15 rebate, you just put $15 for the rebate amount. And the campaign keywords, this is where your search, find, buy keywords come into play. So the beauty of this is when you type in your keyword here, this will actually automatically get inserted into your campaign. So the ManyChat template that this is creating for you, it's going to have this keyword inserted into your template for you. So you don't have to go in and program your ManyChat bot or do anything that you guys are probably used to doing. The 15 daily limit, it automatically limits your campaigns at 15 purchases. The rebate amount, it's going to actually insert that total into the campaign as well. So it's going to tell the buyers as they go through, you get a $15 rebate. Here, this is all dynamically inserted into your ManyChat campaign, so you don't have to go and program ManyChat. You just hit save and it creates the template for you. And then what you do is you just create a product. It's pretty simple to create a product. I'll just show you how easy it is to add your own product. You select your storefront, you type what it is, you type your product ASIN. So I'll just say lavender essential oil 8 ounce. ASIN, a fake ASIN for now. I don't know, it's something like that, right? Product description, you can just say, this is a 100% natural oil that is perfect for sleeping better, relaxation, as much as you want, but just keeping it kind of like 2 to 3 sentences. And what this product description is going to do is in your ManyChat campaign, when they opt in, it's going to say, do you chat or for this lavender essential oil? It's a $15 rebate. Click if you want it. They're going to see the product and they're going to say, okay, what is this product? And there's going to be a part where the product description that you type is automatically inserted into your campaign, so they know what it is that they're buying. This reduces a lot of the confusion we'll have with these rebate campaigns by just giving a little bit of detail on what it is you're selling, what the size is, etc. The price here, so say the price $99. And then this is going to be inserted into your flow as well. It's going to say, go to Amazon, find the lavender essential oil, that's $19.99, and you're going to upload your product image. And that's going to also show them what to look for when they search, find, buy. So this automatically creates the entire search, find, buy process. Any prices, any description, it's all created for you. And I'm just going to hit back and I'm going to select one that I've already done. So I've uploaded an image of an example, another image. For this example, I'm just going to hit next. Okay, so I've created this campaign. This is the lavender oil, May 2020. And then that's pretty much all you have to do. Your ManyChat campaign for your rebate launch is done. All the complicated stuff is finished. All you have to do at this point is go in and click install and install this ManyChat template into your Facebook ad. So that Facebook ad training that I shared with you guys, all this and plug it in and you can start your campaign. You're already ready to go. The only other thing you would need to do is load your account. So if you want to fund rebates, you just load in whatever amount would be. So if it's 15 units per day at $15 per day, you have to run the math and figure out how much to fund there. And then we create the reward cards for you, and it will send the reward cards to customers as they place orders. It won't send the rewards to people who have not placed orders and confirmed. A couple other things. I'm not going to be too much longer on Boosterster here, but just to show you other things we can do. We can ask for reviews automatically. So if you want to, after it's like 12 days after the shipment occurs, you can click on, and this will automatically follow up for that. If you want to collect email, that's valuable if you want to have a list that you can promote future launches to. And if you want to collect SMS, you can turn that on as well. And all of these things are automatically set up that we installed. So when you toggle these on or off, which you can do at any time, that template automatically updates and it will do email and SMS for you. Keywords, of course, you can add more keywords too, just by clicking here. You can do different keyword weights. So there's a lot of different things you can do, but this is specifically designed for search, find, buy. It's a lot easier than the previous process. This used to take like an hour or 2 hours to set up, even if you were like really good at this sort of stuff. Like I've spent a lot of time. So we had to make something that was easier. So let me just go back to the presentation, unless you guys have any questions on that or any questions popping up about that process.
I think there's just one question, and that is it only for the US, or do you have this implemented outside of the US?
This is in US. We want to add the UK next, but it's just going to take a little bit of time. We were really working on perfecting it in the US before we branched out. So, question. Okay, so this is essentially what the ad will look like. And the ad training that I linked you guys to, this ad in that ad training, so you can kind of see everything that I did to get this set up. And here's how the buyer journey works. They see this ad on their Facebook profile, and then they click the button send message, and then that template that we just created, that I showed you guys how to create, it's going to send messages to the buyer. It's going to say, do you want the rebate? Here's the price. Find us on Amazon. Come back when you've purchased and tell us the order ID. It's going to verify the order ID. And then later on, it's going to follow up for reviews if you prompt it to do that. So it does all the hard work for you. And that's basically what I just said. Rebates. So a lot of people are familiar with doing PayPal rebates, but I prefer to do either Amazon or Visa rewards. I'm going to talk about buyer quality, and it actually does if you structure it the right way. So I'll get into that in a little bit, but first let me just I'm going to talk about why saving budget on the ad is not necessarily going to give you better results. You don't want to just get a cheaper opt-in, and because that's oftentimes going to lead to these low quality buyers that Shelley was talking about that do exist on Facebook. So let's talk about improving buyer quality. Lower cost per redemption often means if you're getting a lower cost per redemption, like say under $1, then you're probably having your ad share the buyer hunter group. So there are people that actually stay home like all day and they just look for these deals, and they get 100% all day long. So Amazon will notice that people are just buying at an unnatural rate, and they're canceling orders, they're refunding orders. There's people that do it legitimately, but a large percentage of them are actually just placing an order, getting an order ID, and then also getting a rebate. When they get the rebate, they can't Amazon order. That's one type of scam. So we want to prevent people from ripping off our rebate campaigns like that. And we want these deals to go to real buyers, interest in the product and not just a deal. So you can get cheaper results by giving 100% off on your just doing cash PayPal rebates, but that's almost always going to lead to buyer quality issues when you use PayPal and you do 100% rebates. Here's 4 ways to improve buyer quality on the rebate campaign front. Don't give 100% off rebates. I prefer giving 80% off. A little bit of a step for these freebie hunters that don't want to spend anything. So you're going to actually get rid of a large percentage of these freebie hunters. You're not going to get rid of the scammers, but you are going to the people who just want free stuff. Next thing, don't give PayPal reimbursements, because when people see that they're going to get cash back, the freebie hunters expect cash back. And if they're not going to get cash back, if they're getting a reward card, they're less likely to move forward. You'll actually probably see a lot of a reward campaign. A lot of people that opt in will say, why am I not getting cash back? I expect cash back right now. And the reason they're saying that is that they can just get cash without any risk. And you don't want these people buying from you anyway. They're not going to be able to leave reviews on Amazon because these deals all day, and they're probably leaving reviews and being compensated for it from other people. And second, they're canceling a lot of orders, they're getting a lot of refunds, they're buying just really strange, and they're not going to give you as much rank credit. So cash rewards, 100% cash rewards, I wouldn't do either of those. Giving us some sort of hurdle for these people to go over them. The next thing that you can do is do not give rebates to people who have canceled their orders. So it goes without saying, right? But a lot of rebate distribution systems out there, they aren't set up to check if somebody actually cancels before giving the rebate. So just inside alone, we were actually looking at the stats before we added a cancellation protection, and there was one buyer in particular. She had purchased from like 20 of our users, and she had been just buying, canceling, taking the order, and getting reimbursed without ever having to have any money out of pocket. So product, and she'd get a full rebate. So she was basically just getting cash from everyone. And before having visibility into this pattern across many different accounts, a lot of Amazon sellers probably wouldn't even know that people are doing this sort of thing and how rampant it really is. So what we need to do is we need to do a check that getting their order before we give them a rebate. So there's a way to do that, and we do have that set up automatically to prevent these cancellations. So people who cancel will not get. The other thing is prevent low quality buyers from opting into your deals in the first place. And you can filter out specific bad actors. If you have a list of people who have requested refunds and have canceled that prevent these people from opting in the first place, that provides a lot of value if you're running these campaigns on your own, because you don't have access to all the different Amazon sellers who have been running rebate campaigns, right? But what we can do with a system that we built is we can see who's canceled an order across any Amazon seller across our network, and we can populate a list of all these cancelers, people from opting in the first place, and if they request refunds, we can also stop them from opting in the first place. I'm not going. So 80% off. I talked about 100% off is a risk-free. These get shared in rebate groups. So there's giveaway groups that just 80% gets rid of a lot of the riffraff. And I like 80% in particular because you still have control over how quickly you're getting the sales. The sales doesn't really get impacted by 80%, but at the same time, it gets rid of a lot of the riffraff. Reward cards also have a benefit over PayPal because reward cards give people money that they can use for future purchase. And if you're building a brand, having some cash in their, in to spend towards something rather than just putting in their bank account, it makes it easier to get future sales and increase and improve your lifetime customer value, get more purchases. If you have other products in your catalog, and say after the launch, you send them to your website or you send them to Amazon, they can use these reward cards wherever. Reward cards are also automated, so it's a lot easier to administrate than a PayPal rebate is. 100% of cancellations and weed out low quality buyers. It's a system called Rooster Protect that we built. It actually checks that they haven't canceled their order. So you can see here, you can see inside of your dashboard, if you run a campaign with us, that we track the status. So if it's canceled, buyer will not be getting a rebate. If it's shipped, then they will be getting a rebate. So that will actually save you about 10 to 15%. If you're running like, you'll get a lot of these people canceling their orders. It's like a common trick that they apply. You can prevent them from doing it just by using this system. And bait and switch. So basically the scamming method that they use is they place an order, they cancel their order, and then they use the canceled order ID to receive rebates at zero cost to them. Helps stop that. Not only that, we also can keep track of all the people that cancel, and we can preemptively blacklist and block them from too. So even if it wasn't your exact store and you weren't the one distributing the rebate, you can actually have a list of known scammers be preemptively prevented from opting in the first place. And we've done like over 45,000 rebates. So that's a lot of data. So I talked about preemptively blocking people. That also blocks refunds. So you can block cancellations and you can block refunds from other Boost Rooster users. How to save budget and improve performance on your Facebook ads. So a lot of you guys that don't want to use the other system can get some benefit from this regardless if you're running Facebook ads. So how do we improve the performance of Facebook ads? There's a couple different metrics we want to look at. We want to look at how much we're spending on a daily basis, how much spend is going to various ad sets, what is our cost per message, and how many daily verified orders in our system. And as I mentioned, it's not just the cost per message or the cost per redemption that's important. You can expect to spend a couple dollars for redemption. That's better than spending 5 cents for a low quality redemption. But we want to be able to still control that cost. Even if it's a quality buyer that per redemption, we want to be able to get that down if we can. So adjusting your budget as you go. As you run your long that you're hitting your order cap very early on in the day. So say you set up a Facebook campaign and the campaign has a $25, need to give out a couple of rebates. You might notice that after like, 10 a.m., your budget's barely been used, but you've already hit your. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go in and pause your campaign or delete your campaign or wait till the next day to turn it on. It's better decrease your budget by 25% and let the budget spend out. And the reason is the next day, if say you paused your campaign, the next day you pull it, it's going to screw up the Facebook ad delivery, and you might have issues reaching your number the next day, and then the budget's going to be all up. You don't want to do something where you're deleting or creating a new campaign every single day. You just want to decrease budget. You're going to end up saving money in the long run if you just do it like that. 5%, and then the following day do another 25% if you need to. Just don't do drastic changes of more than 25% or turning things off. Next thing you can do is you can use the breakdowns tab. So inside of the Facebook Ad Manager, there's a tab called Breakdown, the Ad Manager. And if you click the Breakdowns tab, it will show you performance based on age, gender, platform, impression device, placement, different metrics that they give you access to. And what you can do is you can see performance based on these metrics, and you can optimize your ads for these graphics, ages, genders. And I actually optimize in this order. So after I run the campaign for 2 to 3 days, I'll look at the breakdowns page, that button that I just showed you back here, and it will show you, okay, so your cost per message for ages 25 to 34, for example, and your cost per message for people over 50. So what you might want to do in that sort of case is go in and turn off the ages that aren't performing well. Just hit edit and then turn off the ages that aren't performing well. Or what you can do is you can duplicate and just target that specific age range. So duplicate the ad set targeting and just target age range. And then after you do the age range, I would go into gender, and then I would go into platform, meaning like Facebook or Instagram, and then I'll go into placement, like where on that platform is it being placed? Like Instagram stories, or is it in the Messenger inbox, or is it on the desktop mobile newsfeed? There's a whole bunch of different placements, and they give you insight into which platforms and placements are performing the best. Typically for like shorter term campaigns, you're only going to get to optimize. You're not going to have enough time to really get into the lower two. So using the breakdowns tab, that's super valuable for seeing which genders are performing the best. So when you run future launches, you can actually just use that data from previous launches and start it the right way too. Breakdowns it won't help every type of campaign. If you're not spending a couple $100s in ad spend for a campaign, it's not going to make a huge difference. But if you are doing like launch where you have to give away hundreds of units, it's worth at least looking into the breakdowns tab after like 2 to 3 days and optimizing as you go instead of just letting it rip. And as I said, you can use this to inform future launches. So how much should you expect to spend on a rebate campaign if you're having quality? If you're doing 80% off, you should be getting redemptions for like $2 to $5. It really depends on your product and what price range you're in. If you're selling something $100 and you're doing 80% off rebate, it's going to cost you more just because it's still more money up front for the buyer. If it's something that's very cheap, like, and it's 80% rebate off of that, you might have a lot more traction. It's going to be lower cost to acquire these customers. It also depends on what your images look like and your targeting. So the targeting does have a huge role in that too. So cost greatly depends on quality of the ads. So do you have a good image, like really pop and reflect your product well? Do they know what it is just by looking? Who are you targeting? So when you set up your ad, are you targeting the right types of audiences? If you're not, then Facebook isn't going to be showing it to the right people, and your cost is going to obviously go up. And the product is just boring, like it's a stapler that's $150 stapler and it has no appeal. It's going to be hard to get anywhere near these sorts of metrics. So like the offer, your performance. And that's what a lot of people get confused on. They forget that you're still advertising at the end of the day. Even if it's close to a giveaway or it is a giveaway, you're still take some action. So your product has to be enticing regardless. So make sure your product is interesting, because if it's not, all these efforts are going to be kind of useless and you're going to have really crazy costs to acquire these customers. The other thing is, if you're using the Boost Rooster template that I created, it's all done for you. So to acquire customers down quite a bit, because there's a lot of different follow-ups built in. The way that it instructs the buyer to find the product and it explains the product is all optimized to get the costs down, while still allowing you to acquire quality buyers. So more cost per redemption doesn't always mean you're doing something right. If your deal is getting shared in these freebie seeker groups, cheap redemptions, you might see no rank results, and you also might see no reviews result from your campaign. So I'd really strongly advise you guys stay away from 100% off rebates, PayPal rebates. You're not going to be able to get reviews from these buyers, and the ranks aren't going to move as much when you do it. Amazon buyers have different quality scores. These penny rebates that are shared in groups, you don't want that. You want quality buyers. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about what to do if you're running a rebate campaign and you notice that your ad performance is declining over time. So you're getting buyers for $3 per buyer initially, and then on day 3, you notice it spikes to like $15 per day. What do you do when that happens? You have to redo everything and lose all your momentum and not be able to get your 15 sales per day requirement. Say that's your requirement. And at like 3 or 4 after day 2, and you're really concerned that you're not going to be able to reach your target. There's a couple different options you can use to fix that. First thing you can do is reboot your Facebook ad sets. And I use the refresh via duplication method. So if you know you're starting to perform poorly for more than 1 day in a row, I do this reboot method. Basically, I go into, you can see here, it's a tab. It's not the campaign tab. I go to the ad set tab. I find the one that's not performing well, and I click the duplicate button. And I can just duplicate the one that was performing well 5 times. Exact duplication. I don't change anything. And then I wait for those to be approved, and then I'll turn off the original one. So I don't turn all ad sets at once. You have to make sure you always have at least one ad set running. But you can actually just use this duplication method to kind of reboot the system. Exact targeting. There's so many different pockets inside of these audiences, if you set them up correctly, that when you duplicate the same exact targeting, it can actually have a completely different approved. So that's one method you can use, just duplicating.
To clarify, Ryan, you saying you run those 5 at the same time?
Yeah. So if I always have at least one live, when I start a campaign, I have 5 audiences that I'm targeting. And after like 1 or 2 days, there will usually be 1 or 2 that are performing significantly better than the others. Process for that is turning off the ones that aren't doing well, letting the ones that are doing well run. And then if I see one that's performing really well, I'll just duplicate the thing 5 times. And when you have an audience that's like a couple million in size, if you just duplicate it, there's so many different pockets of sub-audiences. And by duplicating, it gives Facebook more options to target inside of that large pool.
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So the second option is for audiences that are large, add those as new ad sets. So I like audiences that are 5 million plus. As I mentioned, I start my launch with 5 audience sets, and a few of those need to be broad, targeting like 5 million plus. It used to be the case that you would target narrower audiences, try to get as narrow as you can, like say Amazon buyers that like essential oil and also watch Ellen DeGeneres or something, like having all these intersections and then getting it 100,000 people. That used to work well, but it actually doesn't work well for this type of campaign. Broad targeting works a lot better on Facebook in general and for these types of campaigns. As I mentioned, the reason for that is just it gives Facebook more options, more pockets of customers to experiment. With that said, some days you'll notice that the large audiences perform very well, and then other days they don't. So that's kind of where the reboot method comes into play. You want to have more options for Facebook to target, and then when you're using campaign budget optimization, you set up your campaign the right way. It's going to divert the budget to the one that's performing. Facebook's smart enough to pick the one that's performing the best in general. The third option is dive into your behavior results, find age range the best. So like I said, if you see that women 45 plus are performing best, then just create a duplicate, target that age range, target women in specific. That usually helps quite a bit. The second tip that you can do to improve budget is use rules. So Facebook gives you access to this tool. It lets you automatically apply changes to your ad sets and your ads when certain things occur. So here's the basic behind these rules. So you set a rule in your campaign for your rebate campaign to turn off an ad set if the cost per message exceeds, and you just set this to run 1 or 2 times per day. I like to set it to go like at 1 p.m. So I have the rule set, check all the ad sets that I'm running. If the cost per message is greater than $5, turn it off. So that's the one rule. And this is how you create this rule. Your ad sets tab, you click create a new rule. You select all your ad sets, and then you just say cost per result greater than $5, check it at 1. And if at 1 p.m. cost per result is greater than 5, it turns off those ad sets. And this actually, if Facebook is diverting a lot of budget to an ad set that's not performing during that day, you want to just be able to shut that off so that they stop that. Facebook is smart, but it's not smart to stop that behavior until like towards the end of the day when you've already wasted majority of your budget. This is really important for reaching your targets too. You have more budget for the winners, which allows you to get more consistent results. In addition to this, the rule, you might cost per message is over $5, and sometimes all of them are over $5. In that case, it might shut all your ad sets off and then your campaign completely. So you don't want this to happen. If that happens, you also want a rule in place to automatically turn on your ad set. Place that automatically turns on ad sets at midnight as well, just to make sure that I'm not starting the day with 0 ad sets on. So you can set another rule, kind of like we saw here, that midnight, if the amount spent is less than $1, it automatically turns it on, and that will automatically reboot and turn everything. So every day it's kind of running a check. Is the cost too high? Turn it off, and then at the end of the day, it turns them all back on again. And if you find one that's not performing well over a couple, delete it so it stops rebooting it like that. Okay, so another note here. So if you notice all your ad sets are being turned off, what you could do back up to succeed again is just make duplicates of the performing the best, so it has more options to choose from. It's really unlikely that you're going to have all your ad sets performing worse than this. There's usually going to be 1 or 2 that's still running. So I don't usually see all of them turn off, but that's just a little note. I mentioned don't pause or delete campaigns, just decrease budgets and do it gradually. That's the best way to prevent Facebook from getting all screwed up and not running campaigns, at the beginning of the day. You want it to be running consistently. So I'd rather spend like an extra couple bucks the budget a little bit lower than the previous day rather than turning it off and trying to save my budget, because that just doesn't work for anyone. It doesn't work for Facebook, and it's not going to make it so you're consistently delivering the rebates and the sales that you need. Minor decreases are best. So kind of related to that, say like 8 o'clock in the morning, you're reaching your cap, decrease your budget slightly. Next thing that I'm going to get Facebook ads, I talked about setting up the chatbot launch. I talked about buyer quality, how to improve that preemptively. Are there any other questions related to any of those topics? Building evergreen traffic sources with these rebates?
Yes, there are quite a few. Okay. Sophia had a question about pausing the campaign. I think you just covered that one in the last piece you were talking about.
Okay.
Kev has a question. Do you recommend using a campaign budget optimization or stick with ad set budget optimization?
Yeah, CBO, campaign budget optimization, is the best to use.
Is there a particular reason why you think that works better?
Well, Facebook should be making it so we can't even use the other budget optimization soon. That's their plan. And they're going towards CBO. CBO it's an intelligent system. It allocates budget to the ad sets that are performing the best. And ad being prompted to move to CBO anyway. So pretty soon the other option's not even going to be available. It's my understanding.
Let's look. Then actually the rest of them about reviews. Let's look down here.
Yeah. Any questions on reviews?
Yeah, so one from Milan was asking about, can you use friends and family for your high quality buyers?
Well, I mean, officially, no, but I mean, Facebook has a lot of data points, right? Or Amazon has a lot of data points. They can see who's friends with who has shared. So if they have no connection to you, I mean, it's up to you. I don't personally use those, and there is a risk when you do that sort of thing. You get reviews from friends and family. If you use this sort of system, you don't need to do that. So I would say, why do that when you could easily just set up a campaign like this and get quality buyers without risking that?
Yeah, I agree. And I'd normally say to people, if the person you're talking about has ever bought anything for you or ever shipped anything to you or anybody in your address book, then probably don't use them. But if it's someone you know, but they've never had any crossover in the Amazon purchases, then perhaps. But there are ways to get.
Yeah, I mean, there's data. Have all your historical addresses. Like, have you ever shared an address with them? Have you ever purchased something for them? Are you friends on Facebook? Are you friends on LinkedIn? Like, who knows what kind of information they're looking at? So it's better just to use a system like this where you don't need to use friends and family anymore to do this.
Okay. Question from Kev. With your boost rooster system, how do you deal with the 24-hour limitation in ManyChat when asking for reviews or following up with people? Yeah,
so we looked very closely at the Facebook rules, and the way that Facebook changed their messenger policies, our rule, you can only follow up outside of 24 hours if you're using one of the designated follow-up tags. There's 3 different types. The one that we used was a post-purchase order follow-up. So you can actually follow up outside of the 24-hour window if it relates to the order. And the trick using this to get reviews is your follow-up message isn't a review prompt initially. It's a message after a certain number of days. It says, just wanted to check to make sure that you got your order and everything was fine. Could you just click here to let us know that you did? That fits into the allowable tag. So you can do that anytime after you click that button. That reactivates the 24-hour follow-up period that you can do any sort of promotional review, ask whatever you want. The trick is just getting them and getting them to click that button by following up with an order that's allowed. The other things we use to increase the likelihood that they're going to click that button is we have SMS follow-up and we have email follow-up. So the SMS follow-up actually links them to click that button. So that increases the likelihood that they click. And then also the email that we send out automatically with Boost Rooster, the way that we set it up, it goes back to that same message. So there's a couple
email and SMS that link into the ManyChat flow. And
it links directly to that ManyChat link that they need to click in order to ask for the review. So we get them to click that button. That's our objective. So then we can start asking for reviews.
Okay.
Good question.
Another question from the same guy, Kev. To purchase through a 2-step storefront URL still help your rank juice?
You know, I spoke with Bradley from Helium 10, if you guys know him, but he says it does. I don't like introducing additional variables that could potentially screw up my launch if I don't have to. You can use search, find, buy, and it predicts works. I don't see it not work. Two-step links sometimes don't work. So I don't want to risk thousands of dollars with a 2-step URL. Search, find, buy, and have more predictable results.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And then a question from Sul Khan. If you have a reduced price for launch, does this mean it counts less towards your ranking than if you have a higher price for launch?
I mean, so like the budget is impacted by a lot of things. If you're doing 100% off, it doesn't mean all your buyers are low quality. It's just, it's going to make it cheaper to acquire customers. And some of those will be quality buyers. But the thing is, we want to prevent as many of these low quality buyers. So it's just kind of like one additional step to keep the low quality buyers out. It doesn't mean just because your budget's low that these are low quality buyers. It could also be.
I think the process he's talking about is sometimes if someone intends to sell something for, say, $30 long term, when they launch, they make the price on Amazon $20, and then they start pushing it up to $30 over the course of a few months.
I see. Yeah, so that's a good question. Personally, my process for price increments, I start with a very competitive price until I get my first 20 reviews. So up to like my price pretty competitive. I'm not getting more than 30% margin. And then after I get 20 reviews, I build some social proof. I'll start to increase the price by like $1, what the price range of the product is. But I increase price at 20 reviews, at 50 reviews, at 100 reviews, at 500 reviews. So you have to kind of earn as you sell in most cases. So I usually start with a lower price, and I don't notice that that's like making it harder to rank. I just increase price gradually.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah, I mean, my own take on that still is that I think Amazon wants to try and optimize the value of the traffic it has on its site. So if you are making 100 sales, if you make 100 sales at a higher price, it will like you slightly more. But it's going to be harder to make those sales because you've got a less proven product and you can have a higher conversion rate. So, you know, when you're on your side, it's costing you more and it's a slightly more difficult launch process for you. So you need to work out the sweet spot that works for you.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, your performance this launch and during this launch from all the other buyers on Amazon also is relevant. If your price is very high after the launch and you're getting a really low conversion rate and you're not getting many sales for the keywords in comparison to your competitors, then your price to be something that prevents you from ranking. You want your price to be competitive enough that you can compete, at least until you earn the right to charge more.
That's great. Okay, I think that's everything covered. Back to you.
Okay, awesome. So the third thing here, building evergreen traffic sources. Just stop at the Amazon ranking, they stop at the rebate launch, and then they go to launch a new product. But it's a lot easier if we efforts that we're applying to this product and we get some sort of long-term asset that we can use to make it easier to launch future products and just build brand awareness. So I'm just going to go over briefly how to build an audience and community with your launch efforts. So here's a question. Our launches. When we run a launch like this, here's what we collect. We get a ManyChat messenger audience, so you can broadcast audience in the future with sponsored messages. ManyChat did change our allowed broadcasting tags. You guys are probably thinking, oh, you know, audience anymore. What's the value of a ManyChat audience, right? But they do still have paid messages that you can use. They work very well, and they're really affordable. Broadcast to hundreds of people for just dollars. So it's still effective for reaching your audience using paid messages. That's one asset that you get from this. You can leverage that audience for any future products you release or just updates related to your brand, or if you have content you want to send them to. If you have a community you want them to be a part of, you can with this pretty effectively. You also build an SMS audience, meaning a text-based audience, because ManyChat allows you to collect SMS leads, opt-in and follow up in Booster, but you could take that SMS list and you can send your entire list an SMS and get them to do something later on. And there's really on your permissibility to do that. Email as well. Email's a very valuable asset still, even in 2020. Just for like background knowledge, if you have an e-commerce site, your email list should account for about 30% of your website's total revenue. Large e-commerce sites. And the reason is email, it allows you to follow up a lot of times. People don't really get annoyed. They do like blasts in their messenger inbox or text to their text message. And email, you can send them an email like every day, every 2 days, and they're not going to really be annoyed or confused by that. They're going to think, oh yeah, I mean, this is what happens when you opt into something, you get emailed. So email is still very valuable, driving awareness. Even if the click-through and the other two, it's more of a consistent, like in-your-face marketing channel that's still very effective. And you can use all these things to drive awareness for whatever you're trying to do. So how do these three things help your brand over the long term? It really just depends on how you use them. A lot of Amazon business owners stop at the rebate and they don't ever put into effort for these leads or use them for future campaigns. They just kind of let them sit there and, you know, makes them feel good. Oh, I've got 1,000 leads, but they don't ever use them for anything. So these lists, the SMS, the messenger, the email lists for new product launches, I like to use these people and send them to Facebook. So they're actually, in particular, Facebook groups, not Facebook pages. And I'm going to go over why that's so important. So for your brand makes it a lot easier to release new products. So if you have a Facebook group of, say, 1,000 members who your brand have purchased from you in the past, you can start to see when they post in these groups what types of products they like, how they're using your products. It not only helps you improve, it also gives you ideas for future things you can offer that they're already interested in buying. My communities, you know, I see them posting every single day. I'm trying to buy one of these products, you know, where I should get it. That gives me ideas. Okay, I need to launch that type of product. And then when I do, they're all ready to buy it because they already have experience with the community aspect of it, having access to these people in a group. When you launch products to them, they're going to be buying at full price, or they're not going to be expecting discounts a lot of the time because they already have the relationship and the bond with your brand. And Amazon rankings are easier if you can get consistent sales from outside of Amazon. If you have two products side by side, one is getting all of its sales from Amazon rankings and Amazon PPC, and then the other one is getting sales from Amazon rankings and PPC and from, say, a Facebook group, a YouTube video, Google ad, it's getting sales from somewhere else. You're going to have more sales on average on a daily basis than a competitor. That just gives you an advantage over them. So having a community that builds you these relationships with customers is very valuable if you can from it. Stickiness for very competitive categories, it becomes a lot easier. Stickiness of rank when you have consistent performance. I like to turn these groups engine for my brand. I'm going to talk about how you can do that. So how I do this is I build a Facebook group around a lot that relates to the products that I'm selling. It has to be something they're passionate about. So say you're selling like outdoors equipment for hikers. You could create, you know, best US hiking trails, something that people are already talking about. And you can actually go on Facebook and you can search for keywords and you can find existing groups that exist like this to see, you know, are people passionate about this? Are they talking about it? You have a Facebook group, say, best hiking trails in the US, and a chatbot launch for your hiking trail related product. You can send them to this group after the launch and start to sort of feed this members. And the trick to this is you want to get these people into the group and you want to get them engaging so that Facebook looks at the group to say, okay, the group is growing on its own. There's people in there posting consistently. They're liking posts. They're spending a lot of time in there. And Facebook will start to reward the group if you feed the algorithm in Facebook what it wants. It wants engagement. It wants people on Facebook so that it can get more ad clicks. If you're feeding people into there and in that group that's active, Facebook's actually going to start promoting the group for you. And I built a lot of groups like this just by getting people in there active. Facebook will have a sidebar on Facebook when people that might be interested in that are just on Facebook passively. They'll see, oh, we suggest that you join trails, and Facebook will actually start to promote your group for you automatically. So if you have this group on best hike, what you could do is say create a post in the group that provides the top 10 US hiking trails. In my example here, I talk about essential oil, it up on the spot. Top 10 US hiking trails. They get into the group, they see a list of these trails, they see instant value, and then it says, for example, below what your favorite hiking trails are. So right when they're joining the group, they're commenting, they're typing their best hiking trails, they're sharing posts maybe with pictures about their trails and their experiences there. And then Facebook is going to have access into these metrics, how your group is performing. And it's going to say, okay, they're getting members, people are spending a lot of time there. Let's start promoting this to other people that like things related to hiking, that like trails. And you can actually get a lot of in the group if you feed the Facebook algorithm what it wants for, you know, a couple days, couple weeks. And I've seen, you know, some groups that I've worked on, I've built groups to 1,000 members just by having consistent engagement, having quality content in the group that these people engage with as they join. Here's a couple examples of groups that I found. So around this, the essential oil topic, if you were an essential oil brand and you wanted to build a group around this, what you can do first is search keywords related to what the group is that you're trying to start. And you can see which groups are successful, what are they doing, and the content are the group owners posting that people are engaging with. And I would just join all groups and start harvesting ideas from them so you know what types of content that people in the audience are talking about, so that when people start joining, you know already what to post. And all these large that are, you're going to want to build around a topic that already exists, because that's going to help it grow more quickly. There's pretty much a topic around anything you possibly sell, a little bit beyond what your product is, you can probably find something. If you sell office organizational equipment, you wouldn't want to say like the product that you're selling and make a group around that, but maybe like something around organization OCD group, like different organizational ideas, or a group around like the Kondo organizational method, that Japanese method for organizing stuff. There's a lot of groups around that, and then you could plug your products in a group like that. So tips for building, you have to pick a topic that people are already passionate about. So you don't want to pick a too narrow of a topic. You want to make sure the topic is large enough that the hundreds of thousands, and there's usually going to be several groups related to what you're thinking of making your group on already, because Facebook's been around for a long time, groups have been around. So don't reinvent the wheel. Usually you shouldn't do that. Create a header image that leads people to join your group. So if you can actually in the header image just show like a good hiking trail and say join to get our top 10 US hiking trails in each state. That would apply to anyone who joins, and it's also like a good lead magnet to get them to want to join. Then you create content pillars, meaning posts in the group to feel like they're getting value for joining, they want to be part of the community, and gets them to want to post and even plugs your product. So I don't first post, but maybe towards like the third or the fourth post in, I will do that. So example here, post 1, what are essential oils? You could talk about what essential is on the same page of what these are and why they should be here. Post 2, how to use essential oils. And you can go into detail, you can have whatever you want there, but just make it so it's valuable and it helps them have action-based steps. And then post 3, you can talk about best essential oils. So if you were talking about, say, like going along the similar line of our hiking example, what are the best hiking trails in the US? What should you taking on your hike, essential hiking tools, and then our top 3 recommended hiking backpacks. And then your hiking backpack could be the one that you post. So you're not leading with a product plug, but you're getting them to engage in the group, and then you're eventually leading to a product plug, like say. So it's kind of like a nurturing process. It takes some time, but you really want to just get engagement, and then these groups grow on autopilot, and then you'll have people joining the group every single day, going through your funnel product. And I get a lot of sales from this sort of funnel structure in groups that I run. So hopefully that makes sense. That's essentially I have a lot more details. If you have some questions, I can elaborate further. Happy to do that. Let me know.
Have you seen any difference on whether it's private or public group, or doesn't matter?
I always make them private. Public groups, I don't really see public groups growing very large, because you want it to be private because people have to join to get access to the content, right? So the lead magnet, whatever it is you're trying to get them to join the group to learn. So, say it's like best hiking trails. If they don't have to join the group to see that, to join. So I make it private.
I ask them in the middle of doing this at the moment. I just set up a new group last week and thought there's no need for this content to be private, but maybe membership would be higher if it was private. So
it's easier to grow private groups from what I've seen.
I'll change it this evening. There were no other questions about that section. If anyone does have questions, then please do post them.
I think there was one question that we missed earlier, but it was more about driving.
Sure, there was, yes, at the very beginning. Yeah, so Carl at the very beginning asked the question about, do you have any tips for driving traffic to Shopify stores or straight e-commerce rather than for the purpose of building rank on Amazon?
Yes, I do. One tip, these groups are actually really valuable for that as well. So just kind of going along a similar line to what I've been talking about, the groups, when you have a fun, educates people about a topic and then leads them to buy a product, you don't have to link to your Amazon store. Say with post 3 here, I get a lot of sales on my site. I have several groups. This is just one way. I get a lot of sales from other methods too, like just driving Facebook ads to funnels on my site, but that's a whole nother topic, you know, so. But just based on what we've talked about here, you can use these groups and pretty effectively to get sales on your site. It's a great traffic source.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I'd say there is that I personally find that if you're using advertising, especially interruptions, to try and sell something, it doesn't work so well. But if you try and deliver value a few times and then present your product, it makes it a longer process, and it's kind of,
yeah.
It feels like you're not getting the results for your money so fast, but I find that actually converts better in the long run. You get a lower cost per
One of the real benefits is that Facebook really optimizes their newsfeed group posts. So whenever you guys use Facebook, you probably notice like 80% of the things you see are group related from people in the groups that you're in. Yeah. And you get people in these, say like hiking trail group. If they join that group and they are active in that group, their news optimized for posts in that group. And when it is optimized for that, when your brand starts posting content and you starts posting like product plugs, it's going to pop up. You won't have to pay for that. So you have to get it to the point where their newsfeed is optimized for the group, and then the group becomes a very powerful asset for driving traffic because it's always in their face. Of course, like, oh, this brand is providing value, and then you can get a lot of sales from it. It takes time.
Yeah.
Okay, new question that's just popped up from someone here about rebates and how long you wait until you refund them.
Right.
Asking about 15 days. My view is you wait 30 days, if anything, but I'll hand that over to you. So would you advise waiting for 15 days after the item has been delivered before giving them a rebate?
Yeah, so if you want to prevent the refund entirely, you could wait 30, but our system just does it after the shipment because it's a balancing act between making the customer also preventing refunds. I mean, you could prevent all refunds by waiting, but you're also going to probably annoy a lot of customers that are real if you do that. Nowadays, a lot of people are probably going to think like you're scamming them, and they're going to forget the terms of the deal, and they'll probably leave 1-star reviews because they'll just go to Amazon after they purchase and say, you know, I got offered a rebate, they never gave it to me, 1-star review.
Okay,
so it's
understood.
a balancing act.
Okay. And if people want to join Roost Booster, sorry, is that the right name?
Boost Rooster.
Boost Rooster, sorry. Yeah. Hopefully.
Like it's a attachment for a boat, and they shoot water out of the back of the boat. It's like
okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Lost on a Girl. That went right over my head. But if they do want to take a look at it, I think you've agreed something special for the community, right?
Right. So I have a discount code for you guys. Also a 14-day free trial. So I mean, you could try it out without paying anything, first of all.
Okay.
So Ryan 10 off if you want to use a discount on your subscription. It's a very affordable software too. It's just $49 a month. So
okay.
For these templates used to be sold for thousands of dollars. I think some people out there are still selling a template for that much for some reason, but you could use the template for no cost, and you can just pay like around $40 a month to use it after that. So with discount.
Okay. And I think there was another question in the group about whether you can do, can you use the tool to do anything else, like ask questions of the audience that you're trying to target, you know, maybe get some market research out of it and not just...
you can use ManyChat for that purpose.
Like build an audience prior to launch, get their input, that kind of thing.
It's specifically you with the rebates using ManyChat, but if you want to use your ManyChat list to do that, or that would just be a completely separate thing. But ManyChat's very versatile. You can send them out like a SurveyMonkey link or something on ManyChat if you wanted to do like a paid broadcast and just say, you know, we're looking for some input on our design. Do you like better? You could do that with ManyChat. It's very versatile. Okay,
cool.
Yeah.
Good. Christian, can you see any more that's come in?
I think that's everything.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much for spending your morning with us. It's been really, really informative and something different. We haven't done anything like this for a while. And really appreciate your time. I should also thank our sponsor, which is Payoneer, and they should be back next week talking to us about how they can help with funding your Amazon business, along with another speaker.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. This was great.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it was. And you've got a lot more up your sleeve, I know. So we must talk about getting you back at some point.
Thank you. I would be happy to do it. Yeah, I can only cover so much in, you know, an hour 20 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you to everybody else for giving up their sunshine and any other valuable time that they've dedicated to this. It's been really great. And we hope to see you all next week. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.